Hey there everyone, today I would like to bring you a new video for Final Fantasy XIV, and this time is about Blue Mage. So I stumbled across a macro in other day in a Reddit thread. The macro is, one of the solution for my problem for Blue Mage currently is that when I want to change to a specific role for Blue Mage, like for instance I'm playing as a tank, I want to transition for a full-time healer in this case, I found out that I can load my active set over here. I can load my active actions over here. But the problem is, after I load them, my hotbar is not changing at all. Then I will have to drag again and drop all of my skills from my active action to my hotbar again to set up for my healer. And then let's say if I want to revert back to my tank, something like this, I have to drag again. You see? So it's very problematic and troublesome for me to change my role, which in this case is very annoying, right? So after that, I tried to Google for a solution, and I stumbled across one of these macro. One of these user in Reddit, he created this macro. I don't take any credit for this macro. I will put a link to the Reddit thread in my description below. If you are interested in copying or using this macro, please go there. And kudos to the person who created this. The purpose for this video for me is to explain how can you set up to use this macro in this case. So let's go into this. You can see it has the first two lines. It's very simple. Blue spellbook preset 2. This is very easy. This is talking about the active set over here. So what you need to change the parameter over here for the first line is the 2, the numbering, number 2 over there. You can change it to 1, 2, 3, 4, depend on your active set, which one you want the system to load when you press this macro. And then the second line, the gear set, change 29. This is even simpler. There will be the gear set list over here. 29 is my Blue Mage, so I'll just put 29 here. You can change the 29 to any other thing else, right? So for the last three line, I would like to explain a little bit is that it's telling the system to copy Thaumaturge hotbar 1 to Blue Mage hotbar 1, and subsequently 2, 3, and and so on. If you have 4 or 5, you can just add a few more lines below. Copy the first few lines over here, and then just change the numbering to the numbering that you like. So what does it do is it's copying Thaumaturge hotbar 1 to Blue Mage hotbar 1. So what we know that these are base classes. Thaumaturge are the base classes. Conjurer, Arcanist are the base class very long time ago. These class, we don't use them anymore, and their hotbar is basically empty right now. It's unused, right? So let's utilize it in this case. So what we want to do is the macro is going to copy the Thaumaturge to Blue Mage. And why I choose Thaumaturge in this case? Because for Blue Mage, they have the skill, the role skill of Swift Cast and Lucid Dreaming as well. In order for the base class to have this access is only the caster or the healer. So we need the Swift Cast and Lucid Dreaming, which is why I'm choosing Thaumaturge, the base class for my tank, and Arcanist, the base class for my DPS. So in this case, let me show you how do I set it up. I have set up something for this Thaumaturge, but let's go for Black Mage over here first. So in order for us to revert, for instance, Black Mage down to Thaumaturge, we can just unequip the Soul Crystal. But for my case, I can't do that because I have a resistant weapon over here that's only compatible with Blue Mage. It's not compatible with Thaumaturge at all. So I need to change the weapon. So after I change the weapon, I need to go and buy a very simple level 1 weapon, which is compatible with my Thaumaturge and Blue Mage. This is one of them. So I just need to equip them, and I can remove the Soul Crystal right now. After removing it, I'm in Thaumaturge now. As you can see, because the weapon is compatible with Thaumaturge, I can unequip the Soul Crystal. So now you are in the Thaumaturge section. You can see all the hotbars over here. They are actually having all of my tanking skill for my Blue Mage. Once you change to Thaumaturge, you can still have the access of the Blue Mage spellbook. Just drag and drop. Just load them. Just load your tank active skill. Just drag and drop them over here. You can even have the role skill Swift Cast, Lucid Dreaming, drag and drop as well. So after you have them, that's it. That's the setup. It's very simple. But one thing for sure you have to remember, if there's any changes to your setup in your skill, you must always make the changes in your base class instead, but not in the Blue Mage. For instance, let's see. I click on my Blue Mage tank. Right now I'm in Blue Mage. I'm having all of my tanking skill. Let me click on the blue DPS. I will have my blue DPS skill. As you can see, they are changing right now, because the blue DPS is copying Arcanis and the tank is copying Thaumaturge. So in this case, let's say if I want to do a changes over here, I want to bind Bristol in a new hotbar key over here, alternate T, right? So let's transition to DPS and let's transition back to tank. You can see it's not saving at all right now. This is because every time we click on the macro, it's copying from the base class to Blue Mage, which means that all your changes must always happen in the base class first in order for them to take effect. So you must do the settings and the changes all over there to make sure that it's not missing. So don't get confused and don't get shocked when you don't see them in your Blue Mage after you make any changes here in the Blue Mage. So I will have the macro in my the link to the Reddit thread for the macro. I will have it in my description in the video below. This is the macro. You can just simply change over here this Thaumaturge to any base class you want, but I will always recommend you to use a caster base class or even a healer base class, because they have access to Swift Cast and Lucid Dreaming. So you can bind them early on in this case. So I hope that this video helps some players that have this problem like me as well. Currently, Square Enix don't have any good way for us to change our hotbar and all those stuff when we want to play a specific role for Blue Mage. I'm not sure whether they will fix this or they will add as a feature next time in the future, but I hope they will. But for now, the only way for us to bypass this issue is to use the macro. Kudos to the person who created this, and if you are a player already know about this, already knew about this, good for you. But if you are a player that doesn't know about this and are not sure how to use the macro and set up them, I hope this video can help you a lot. Thanks for watching. See you guys next time. Goodbye.